I remember the night vividly, the chill in the air, the eerie silence that seemed to envelop the whole neighborhood. It was the kind of night that made you shiver, not just from the cold, but from an inexplicable sense of unease that lingered in the darkness. I had just finished my shift at the diner, tired and eager to get home to my cozy apartment. As I walked through the dimly lit streets, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every shadow seemed to morph into something sinister, and every sound sent shivers down my spine. That's when I saw them, two children standing at the end of the alley. Their silhouettes seemed to blend into the darkness, but there was something unmistakably eerie about them. As I approached, I noticed their eyes, completely black, devoid of any humanity. "Excuse me, are you lost?" I asked tentatively, my voice barely above a whisper. The children didn't respond. They simply stared at me with those empty black eyes. My heart began to race, a primal instinct urging me to flee, but curiosity held me in place. "Can we come with you?" One of the children finally spoke, their voice sending chills down my spine. I hesitated, unsure of what to do. Something about them felt off, but I couldn't bring myself to turn them away. Against my better judgment, I nodded and gestured for them to follow. As we walked, the children remained eerily silent, their presence casting a pall over the night. I tried to make small talk, to break the tension, but they simply stared ahead, their eyes fixed on some unseen horizon. Finally, we reached my apartment building, and I hesitated before opening the door. A part of me wanted to turn them away, to leave them out in the cold, but another part felt compelled to invite them in. "Come on," I said softly, pushing open the door and leading them inside. The children followed silently, their eyes darting around the dimly lit hallway. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong, but I pushed the thought to the back of my mind as we reached my apartment door. I fumbled with the keys, my hands trembling as I struggled to unlock the door. Finally, it swung open, and I ushered the children inside, praying that I wasn't making a grave mistake. As they stepped into the apartment, I felt a wave of unease wash over me. The atmosphere seemed to shift, becoming heavier, more oppressive. And then, as if on cue, the power went out, plunging us into darkness. Panic set in as I groped for a flashlight, my heart pounding in my chest. But before I could find it, I felt a cold hand grip my arm, sending a jolt of fear coursing through my veins. "Please," the children whispered in unison, their voices echoing in the darkness. "Don't be afraid." I tried to pull away, to break free from their grasp, but it was like trying to escape the grip of death itself. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the darkness lifted, the power returning with a flicker of light. I stumbled back, my heart racing as I looked around the room. The children were gone, vanished into thin air, as if they had never been there at all. I collapsed onto the floor, shaken to the core by what had just happened. It felt like a nightmare, a twisted hallucination brought on by exhaustion and fear. But deep down, I knew it was real. The black-eyed children, they were real, and they had come for me. Months have passed since that fateful night, but I still can't shake the feeling of dread that lingers in the air. Every shadow seems to hold a secret. Every sound a whisper of the unknown. I've tried to convince myself that it was just a trick of the mind, a figment of my imagination run wild. But deep down, I know the truth. The black-eyed children are out there, lurking in the darkness, waiting for their next victim. And one day, when you least expect it, they'll come for you too.